Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I want to talk about a topic that is coming up a lot in some of the sessions I have with you guys. Why avoidants avoid making time to see you in person. And some avoidants do this, not all. Some avoid seeing you altogether, and then some cancel a lot, and then some don't do any of this. But I think the reason why people get confused is a lot of times in sessions, folks will ask me, like, consultation sessions, which if you want one, it's pinned in the comments. But a lot of you guys are asking, like, is this person avoidant? Because I barely see them. We talk sometimes and they tell me a little bit about their childhood, and then we kind of discuss and we're looking at their childhood, and it's like, yes, this person is avoidant. But a lot of people think, is this person just not interested because they are literally avoiding seeing me in person? Maybe they have another situation going on. And while that can be the case, some avoidants, they are avoidant and they are also like in a relationship and you're the other person. That can happen sometimes. It's less common, but it does happen. Avoidants have, they're all different in some ways. The only similarity is their attachment style. But is it common for people with an avoidant attachment style to avoid seeing you in person? Yeah. Some shape or form it is. Like I said, some avoid seeing you almost entirely or like very rarely, and then some just cancel a lot. And the reason comes from a couple different reasons, and I actually want to talk about it. The canceling a lot, actually, that one mainly comes from control issues. That one is like the main reason for that one. But avoid seeing you in person, we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. So the first one, the reason they do this, is they're still adjusting you into their life. This one is actually one of the more common reasons why they avoid seeing you in person. It's not that they don't want to see you. They are very controlling, as I was telling you earlier. But this one is about control and also just fear of vulnerability and comfort, their comfort zone. Avoidants are really, really comfortable with being alone. A little too comfortable, to be honest. And so adjusting their lifestyle can be hard for them. And seeing you in person kind of proves to them that they have to adjust their lifestyle to commit to you. And so they're having a little bit of trouble admitting that. Usually this one gets better over time. It can take some time. It can take months. Sometimes it can take longer than that. It's up to you to decide if you want to stay. I'm not even telling you to stay. I'm just literally sharing information for anybody who needs it. And it is something I touch on a lot in sessions. And because I'm seeing more of you guys in my consultation calls, I want to make sure that I make videos that reflect on some of the patterns that I'm seeing, for free resources as well, of course, so that you guys can get understanding and I can also help anyone else who needs it right away. But I can't talk about anything specific, so I know you guys understand that. But they're uncomfortable with the adjustment they need to make. Usually this one fixes over time. The next one is that the control issue thing that I talked about, the more specific control issue. And this one is more common if they're the person who cancels a lot. They want to see you at a different time than you want to see them, which sounds so bizarre that this is actually the reason that they would do this, but it is true. The most common example that I've seen with you guys is like the weekend versus weekday. Okay. And this is so common. One person wants a weekend and the other person wants a weekday. I mean, this is so literal. One of the most common reasons, literally weekday versus weekend. You guys have no idea. The amount of times I hear this, I mean, you guys would think it's laughable how similar some avoidants are when it comes to this. It's typically this particular conflict. And so if you do have this conflict, please know that you are not alone. It's very common. But what do I mean by this and what do you even do with it? If the avoidant is saying that they want to see you at a certain time and they change it up and they don't want to see you on a weekend, it's typically they avoid the weekend. And people think it's because they're cheating or something like that. That's not true. A lot of avoidants, they work a lot, and during the weekend they like to decompress and basically not talk to anybody. And so they avoid weekends entirely by doing anything except maybe like very monotonous or very like repetitive stuff. And so sometimes they might be even engaging in like any sort of addiction behaviors on the weekends more typically. And I'll make a video on that later, but that's kind of what's happening. And so often you want to see them on a weekend, for example, they want to see you on a weekday. There is a way to compromise. And sometimes, unfortunately, the best way to do it is to first lean in to what they're asking for and then eventually prompt for the other way, or extend out how often you see them so that you can meet in the middle. The next one is that they are actually uncomfortable in your home due to like a roommate parent sibling dynamic. And so usually the clash with this one is they don't want to go to your house, they want you to go to their house, or vice versa. They're uncomfortable with you going to their house, and so they want to go to your house, not you go to their house. So there's that control issue again. It's a really specific reason, and that specific reason is why they're hanging up about meeting you in person, like quite literally. And so have a conversation if you think this might be it, if you suspect this, okay? The next one is they're struggling with things in their own life and they're afraid that they will be unpleasant to hang around with, okay? And so kind of how to resolve this is to bring up in a constructive and respectful way. Use clear. So this is for any of them, by the way. Any of these things, this is how to resolve it, okay? Bring it up in a constructive and respectful way. Use clear and determined language as evidence that they, use determined language for the evidence if they don't agree with what you're saying. And so the example is if you're like, we haven't seen each other in a year. Let's just say that's the situation. I hope that's not the situation, but sometimes people have that type of situation. We haven't seen each other in a year. I'd like to meet you. I'd like to see you again. It's been a while, whatever it is. And they might be like, it hasn't been a year. At that point, I really strongly suggest that you do actually bring up real evidence. Yes, it has been. The last time we spoke was last year in May 2025. Now it's 2026 May. I haven't seen you since. It's been actually 12 months. It's been a year. By saying that, sometimes it can break the avoidant out of the denial they're in. Because a lot of times they're in denial about the reality of how severe some of their triggers are. And they will feel guilty about this, and let them process that guilt, because they need to process the guilt to admit what's going on. A lot of times they might even crash out a little bit, but please keep in mind that afterwards, if they really do care about you, they will show up. I think the problem with some of you guys, and I will always be honest and I'll call you guys out, sometimes you guys can't find the balance between what to compromise on and what to hold your ground for. And this is with every relationship, by the way. It's not specific to an attachment style, but I will say people with insecure attachment struggle with this a little bit more. People with secure attachment, they kind of know what to do or what to say because they grew up with a lot of these healthy patterns. And so you guys don't know, when am I supposed to compromise and when I'm not? And sadly, and please, I'm saying this I want to be as kind and gentle to you as possible, but I also want to help. I don't like lying to you guys. You know that. Sadly, a lot of times what you guys do, it's flipped. You guys are compromising on things you shouldn't be compromising on, and then you're being really rigid on something that's probably where you should compromise. And this is for both avoidance and anxious folks. But I actually think with anxious people, it's a little bit more often I see this, where you're really, really specific about, oh, he didn't say anything on Valentine's Day. And you're like really, really stuck on that. You're so stuck on the fact that he did not wish you a happy Valentine's Day. But you're not saying it clearly. You're just mad at him. You're telling him that you feel like a fool. You feel like he doesn't care. He doesn't, give you attention. And you want to tell him that. But you're like, oh, but if I say that, am I going to push him away? Is he going to think that I'm taking away his independence? And so you don't say anything. When you can say, I don't like that, you didn't say something about Valentine's Day, whatever it is, but you're so stuck on that instead of thinking about all the other things that he does do, but also the stuff that he doesn't do. Like you're just stuck on like one very specific thing. And I think that issue is why some of these patterns happen. Another good example, it's common, is a weekday weekend. You're so stuck on, oh, he doesn't want to see me on the weekend. Maybe he's cheating on me. Oh, she avoids seeing me on weekends. Maybe she has a boyfriend that she's not telling me about. When in actuality, she will be fine seeing you on a weekday. Give that a chance, get more closer to her, both of you build rapport, and then maybe you can prompt her or him to see you on that weekend. But you're so stuck on that fear and you're so stuck on that specific thing, that is where you can compromise. But don't compromise on not speaking up. That's where you guys get it a little mixed up. I don't even know how to explain that. But if you've had calls with me, I call you out very specifically about when you do that. And it really changes your relationship because it's not healthy. And so Say something clear and constructive. I notice you tend to cancel a lot. I appreciate the time we spend together, but the cancellations have me frustrated. Is there a better time that we can see each other so this doesn't happen? I want to be open to you. I have an open mind. I'm not mad. I just want to resolve the issue, right? You can say anything like that. Give it a shot about communicating clearly what you're seeing. And I know it's not always easy. That it's not always this clear, but that's why I try to make videos, but it's hard to make detailed videos about every situation just because every situation is different. But hopefully this gives you some clarification. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.